I am making this video about steaming today because last night when I was up in the very early morning nursing my baby, I just got like wave after wave of thoughts and images of steaming, and I was just filled with gratitude for this practice. And then when I got up this morning, my husband told me that I was singing in my sleep. And as I recalled my dreams, I just knew that today was the day that I would get to share with all of you about the practice of steaming. And I named this video Demystifying the Peristeam Hydrotherapy because of Keli Garza. It's a shout out to her. She is my teacher, and I am just so grateful for her and the beautiful ways that she is revolutionizing women's health all over the world. So if you haven't watched her video, go check it out. And I'm going to be referencing Steamy Chick, which is her company, steamychick.com, and then Peristeam Hydrotherapy Institute, which is where I received my certification and instruction from her. So Peristeam Hydrotherapy refers to the perineum. A lot of people call it vaginal steaming, but that's actually doesn't even begin to cover the scope of this healing practice. And it's not only for women; men can also use it. And so Peristeam refers to the whole perineum, and hydrotherapy is about that. It's for, you can use herbs and a certain schedule for a protocol to address a wide variety of health issues, mostly having to do with cycling, women's cycles, and also labor and delivery and postpartum. So if you go to steamychick.com, there's a lot of information about it, how this practice has been found all over the world. And also you'll be able to find a directory of practitioners who can support you in addressing any issues that you may have. And now that I have eyes to see and ears to hear about this, I see steaming everywhere. For example, my family and I were just reading the story of Moses, and it talks about the women in that community going to the stools. And I know most people assume that that's birthing stools, but as someone who has delivered 6 children, I know that you don't just have to use a stool for birthing. And in fact, I think it's a reference to steaming stools. As you can see, I have several here with me that I'll talk about in just a second. But, and I mean, Keli says that a phoenix is a reference to steaming. It's everywhere. And it's been used anciently. Indigenous cultures still practice it. It was lost in the United States because of regulations on midwifery. And so like I said, I am grateful for the women, especially for Keli, who are bringing this practice back into use for everyone, because it has been so beneficial. So I'll share my experience and just a little bit about what peristeaming is. As I share this with other women, I find myself saying the same things and answering the same questions again and again. And so I thought it would just be best to make a video, and I didn't know what that would be, but apparently it's today. So I first heard about steaming from my cousin. And the very next morning I woke up and I went out on a run early. The stars were still out, and my heart was just singing. I knew that this was going to be a deep, beautiful practice for me, and one that I could share with others. I just knew it, that it was important and even sacred. So when I got back from my run, I just went out to my garden and gathered, just kind of intuitively selected certain herbs, and it was like rose petals, lavender, basil, rosemary, and I also grabbed some aloe vera peels. And I boiled water, and I used a little Pyrex cup. I forgot to bring that in here. And just like a glass cup, and I boiled water on the stove, and I just put all the fresh herbs in it. And then when the water was finished boiling, I just put the lid on, and I walked into my closet. And I just took off the lid, and it smelled so good, and I just knelt over the steam. And again, it's such a, I'm a go-getter. Like, I do a lot, but in that moment, I knew that this practice could be one of self-care. And that's what it has become for me. It's been a way that I can take a moment to care for myself and my body, and to connect with my mothers, with the earth, with the generations of women who use this practice, and that I have had the blessing of rediscovering for myself and sharing with others. And so after that first practice, even though it was incredibly beautiful to me, I didn't realize what a physical benefit it was going to be. I don't really have very many problems with my cycles. I didn't consider myself someone who had like issues, like women's issues. But after that first time steaming, the next time that I started my period, had a womb cleanse, like black stuff came out, and I was like, what is happening? And so I kept steaming. After my period had finished, I kept steaming, and hopefully this isn't TMI, but I felt myself and realized, like, I didn't know like how wrecked I was until I tried steaming, because I just thought it was normal. I just thought that that's what was normal. You know, we have all these stories in our culture of like, oh, like we try and laugh it off, like, oh, you know, I pee my pants if I'm running, or, you know, jumping on the trampoline, but, you know, my kids are worth it. And that just doesn't have to happen. We aren't receiving the care that we need, that our bodies need to heal. And so we just think it's normal. We think it's normal to have cramps. We think it's normal to, you know, just to have our periods fluctuate from, you know, oh, well, I had a 10-day super heavy period, and I guess that's just what was happening to me. You know, our options are so limited. We have just like drugs or surgeries to address these things, when all we really need is steaming. And so like I said, I just felt so healed. That's what I said when I felt myself. I was like, I'm healed. Like, I didn't even know that things weren't in alignment, and just being out of place and heavy, and it was just so relieving and beautiful to realize that I could be made whole and go back to what I had been. I had forgotten. I mean, I had had my 5th child by then. And so I started telling everyone about it. It was just like, you have to try this. It's amazing. You know, I just pointed people to Steamy Chick, and eventually I was like, okay, I need to learn this so that I can actually teach it instead of just like raving about it. And so I did the classes, I became a Peristeam Hydrotherapy facilitator. And then we found out that we were expecting another baby, and I knew that I was gonna use steaming in labor and delivery and in postpartum. I felt so confident. We actually delivered unassisted at home, and one of the reasons why I felt so confident is because of the tool of steaming. I knew that anything that happened, it could be addressed with steaming. And so as soon as I got to a 38-week mark, I steamed that morning, and then our daughter was born 17 hours later. I wasn't expecting to go into labor, but my body just really responds really well to steaming. And so I used steaming throughout the labor. I know I didn't tear at all. It was the easiest delivery. I didn't even push. I was just like breathing. And I guess that's a whole nother video that I'll do sometime. But I know that the ease and the confidence and just like the peaceful centeredness of that experience was absolutely supported by steaming. And then I also followed the postpartum protocol to just get everything back into alignment and healed. I actually steamed for 40 days after delivery, and it was so beautiful. Sometimes I even nursed while I was steaming. It just felt so like the most feminine ever. And it was a way that I could, it was just the most beautiful self-care practice. It was a way that I could provide healing in my own home. And so I want to share that with as many people as will listen. There are answers, and there are ways that we can be made whole. Steaming also addresses trauma. Like if you have experienced trauma in your life, this practice can help to heal that. Anything, just look it up. look up the directory on steamychick.com. Find a facilitator near you, and get started. There's no reason to not. So I just want to show you a few of my supplies. Hopefully this video isn't getting too long. So I use these gentle herbs. This is isn't that such a cute logo? This is a Steamy Chick logo. So I use the gentle herb blend. That's the protocol that I need to follow. And I just put the herbs. I use this little spoon. I scoop out herbs and put them in this little tea bag. And then you can see this is one of my steam stools. So I just put them in this container and with the water, and you can sit over this. This is my husband and I found this. It's actually a milking stool that we bought in Amish country, but then I had a friend cut it out to be like a birthing steam stool. And then this sauna, one of my friends that I shared steaming with, her husband made it for me after making one for her, because they heard that I was still just kneeling on the ground to steam, because I didn't have any of these items yet. So you boil the water, you put the herbs in, and then you sit over the warm pot. And there's no reason to make it like scalding. Like it's just like the shower, like the water could be scalding hot, but that doesn't make you cleaner. It's just at your comfort level. And you'll need some support in knowing like how long to steam and what herbs to steam with. But you can use just water and Epsom salt, if you just want to try it without spending any money on it. Or you can just intuitively, go through your garden, go through your herb, like if you have tea, Let's say you have some chamomile tea, you know what that does. That helps to calm you, that helps for you to feel relaxed. If you can use it for tea, you can use it for steaming. And so just try it, you know. If you're going to make a practice of it, you may want some support from a practitioner who can help you to know, because I mean, it's just like cooking a recipe. Like, you wouldn't use a tablespoon of basil and a tablespoon of peppercorns, you know, like you have, there's like a blend with proper amounts of each herb. But just to try it, especially if you're not addressing something specific, you can just intuitively select some herbs, especially if they're ones in your own home that you're used to using. And let's see, what else do I want to say? I think for me, this practice has helped to open the door for my femininity. And like I said, I'm kind of like a go-getter. I am always like doing stuff. And this just helps me to be recentered and to remember my mothers and to take time for myself to support me so that I can be there for everyone around me. So I hope that if you choose to try this practice, that it deepens your wisdom as a woman, that it brings you peace and joy, and that it increases your capacity to love yourself and to love everyone around you, because that's what it's done for me. So thank you for being here with me, and have a beautiful day.